and he that dude led every raid team in that guild, every single one of them.
And he also did on private servers as well.
Yeah. I mean, look, good for him. He got to where he wanted to do, and he's hanging up his boots or whatever you want to call it. So,
so
he's leaving with grace. Kind of wasn't like a horrible implosion or anything.
Oh no, not at all. Not at all.
They still have one.
They still exist.
One raid team going right now, under a different name though, I believe, right?
I don't know. Like, I don't want to kind of get into. All I know is they still exist. Yep, and it was a pleasure watching them play. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, they.
Speaking of a Tiege, we getting first a Tiege this Sunday most likely. We got to 50 splinters. Just need to clear.
We're already halfway to a second
80.
one.
Wow. No, so the first one. Sorry, it's first one.
No, I mean we're halfway to a second one already.
Yeah, but we got that's something with the fellowship and legendary drops. I don't know what this.
I was saying we got really lucky with ATS.
We got
last the fact that your guilds are still strong and pumping though is really impressive, man. Pretty much everybody I talk to, their raids are in shambles, bro. They have 20 people showing up or less. People are just dropping off, not just because they're done with the game or whatever, right? So the fact you guys are still going, man, and keeping the ship afloat. It's
a tough time. It's a tough time for people to want to continue raiding, right? Especially now with the announcement. It's just you have to just think to yourself: do you enjoy raiding every week? And if you do, that's great, And I think that's why we continue doing it, because we enjoy it. But I wouldn't be surprised at some point we take a break before TBC comes out as well. Just kind of chill out for a couple weeks, maybe a month. Because there's no reason to keep stressing yourself out every week.
The good thing is that we're continuing the TBC. We have a lot of people who are wanting to come with us, and I think we really set out and did what we wanted to do in Classic. I am more than fucking happy with what we with our outcome and where we reached, and I just want to shout out to everyone in the guild. Eden, if you're listening, love you guys. Thank you all so much. Seriously, it was an amazing fucking run. We're not done yet. It's a long way to go, and we know, some more TBC stuff. But before we continue, can I please bless this GMA?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I got a little special one. So, and my mic is a new mic, so I might not teeter out. So you just, we might want to keep it a little low. But here we go. Good morning, Azeroth and Outland, aka fucking Outland. AKA, I'm sorry, Draenor.
Yo, same shit, right? Draenor and Outland?
Yeah, Draenor and Outland.
Yeah.
Dude, here we fucking come. Good morning, Outland. It wasn't called Draenor until fucking... Well, I mean, it was still Draenor, but we called Outland.
It was called Draenor by the Draenei.
Yeah, we called motherfucking Outland.
It feels like just yesterday, man, when we were doing our first GMAs before Classic came out, right? And,
I know.
Classic had its issues for sure, and, community learned a lot. But I can definitely say with confidence, looking back over the past 2 years, been some of the best years of my life, man. Just, I had so much fun with Classic, and I still am having fun, And really, even more so than the game, man. Just the people, man.
Yeah, hardcore was huge. I mean, look at it this way, right? COVID was horrible. It is horrible, and it's continued to suck. But dude,
thank God we had WoW.
The the fact that we had Classic WoW come out, in this pandemic, it at least gave us something to kind of play and look forward to, So, and some people would even say they wouldn't be able to play Classic WoW to the extent that they have because of the pandemic. So,
for sure,
I know that's true for me. But yeah,
hell yeah, man. And now it's time for the next chapter potentially.
Fuck, dude, TBC boys. So I know a lot of you guys here, we're always Classic this, I love Classic. It is I had so much fun here, but when I heard the announcement, a few years back, that Classic, was when BlizzCon announced when JL and Brack did his thing, JL and Crack. As soon as I heard the announcement, literally my first thought was, they're gonna fucking bring out TBC too. That was my end game. You know what I mean? That was my initial thought, and I started playing midway, a little later towards Vanilla WoW back in the day, but I didn't get to experience everything, so it was nice to be able to do that in Classic here, right? Because I really barely rated. I did do so on private servers. TBC for me even though I did experience all the content and was able to do all the raids and to do PvP, I had so much fun during that time. And being able to have that again is, for me, like, I cannot wait, right? Holy Priest and TBC, for me, the best class spec combo. Like, the best fucking spec. Discipline Priest, the best in fucking PvP. Shadow, amazing. Like, I'm just so excited, and I just hope they don't fuck it up, right? That's what that's my really big concern, is that they don't, mess this up. So I got faith, though, man. I got faith.
Yeah, they've done some things recently that have been kind of like impressive stuff that like hasn't made them more money. The multi-boxing exchange. I know that definitely was like a shocker to me. Like they got rid of software multi-boxing. But I mean, dude, this is a big deal, man. We'll get into the news in a second. But assuming TBC is coming, which pretty much is confirmed now, that opens the doors towards Wrath and stuff. Like, I mean, they could have either gone in the direction of, okay, we're just going to recreate the original classic game, leave it as is, and that's it. That's our homage to the original game. No interest in making a whole bunch of different servers with different metas and all this. But they crossed that line in the sand, right? So that's if there's TBC, one would think that Wrath is almost an inevitability too, right? At some point. So yeah,
unless TBC is a complete flop, which I don't think it will be. I think it'll be more. I think it'll actually be more popular than Classic in a lot of ways, because it's we don't know exactly how the world buffs are. World buffs shouldn't be in the game. There are still some. You still get Darkmoon Fair. There's people saying that maybe even Slong. I don't want to get into that, but like world buffs will be heavily reduced, if not gone, and I think that'll keep a lot of retention. And then you have Arena, right? So those things together will keep a lot of people engaged for longer periods of time. And I think I think the fights, the mechanics, the overall aesthetic is more enjoyable as well. So.
Gotcha. Sorry, that was the sound issue was something else. Okay, it should be fixed now. Sorry about that, guys.
Okay, good.
Okay, yeah, there's another video going in the back as well somewhere.
Oh, that's what it was.
Layers, yeah.
I see. Shall we go into the blue post a little bit?
Yeah, let's go into it. This is 4 hours, 15 minutes ago. What happened?
So, I just want to read the top here, and then but it says, like, look what it says. The Burning Crusade Classic has been confirmed in a BlizzCon line leak from an official press kit accidentally uploaded by Blizzard.
Accidentally,
like,
in air quotes.
Do you think they just either said "fuck it"? Like, I mean,
no.
That's a
why
big
would you
fuck
do
up,
that?
right? Like,
why would you do that?
Yeah.
I don't know why you would do that, right? Like, there's no reason.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that maybe they would do this to build hype, but when it's so close to the announcement tomorrow, I mean, then
it's weird, isn't it?
We're all going to be excited when they announce it, but like it's mitigating against the excitement.
I think someone did a big fuck up, honestly. I think someone put something out too early, because I think they've been like hinting at it. Like, if you look at the launcher. Right below the new fucking Blizzard launcher, which I don't like new stuff, so I don't like it, but it looks nice. Whatever, whoever worked on a great job. I actually talked to the guy who does the play, whatever. But if you go down and look where they have that picture, it's like Illidan, Asbestos Lady, Lilith.
Dude, her name's Lilith.
Yeah, and then fucking the new Lich King Bolvar. But the left picture is Illidan. I know it's Hearthstone. I know he's got the cars and shit, but I think it's like a hint towards, Illidan's coming back in some form or another in TBC, something like that. So I don't know. I think that they probably did leak this by accident, but like I said, it's a pretty big leak. You know what I mean? Someone fucked up big there.
Yeah, someone's losing their job, maybe.
Yeah.
It's not like we didn't see it coming, right? But the leak has some interesting information, really. If you look into it, at first sight, it seems like, okay, it's coming. We have Blood Elves, we have Draenei, we have Jewelry. But if you really look into what they actually write, you can see some other stuff, which is, I would say, a little bit concerning. So I don't know what you guys think of it.
Let's go line by line with it. Yeah, we'll go line by line.
Yeah, line by line.
Well, the first part is not very interesting, right? You can go line by line if you want, but it just states... you have the Burning Crusade, basically, with Blood Elves, Draenei. You have Jewelry, you have Zangar March, you have the new zones. Black Temple, things like that.
Let's just read it real quick. Let's read the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, even before the blue post up here, it says, we do not have a release date in the press kit, but we do know it is coming in 2021. So that is less than a year away, because we are in 2021, obviously, right? So some people might have thought they're going to announce TBC, but there's a good shot that maybe it's out next year or something in 2022. No, we are months away. Yeah, I mean, it's cool, man. Just a little nugget right there. Burning Crusade Classic will roll out in phases, and WoW Classic players can decide to progress their characters on TBC servers or new Classic Era servers. What is a Classic Era server? I've never heard this jargon used before as a descriptor towards servers. Are they just saying, you know...
I personally think they wouldn't use the word fresh because it doesn't sound very professional, right? So
that's a fucking private server term.
They're not going to put fresh in all caps with one space in between each letter.
Exactly right. Exactly. Yeah. You know, so they wouldn't use that word 100%. Classic era is the one that's confusing, right? Because TBC is in the classic era, right? It's TBC Classic. So what the hell does that even mean?
So I'm reading into this, right? So again, Burning Crusade will roll out in phases, and WoW Classic players can decide to progress their characters, which means thank fucking God Blizzard for not doing the crazy thing and just making everyone roll new people. That would have been horrible. To decide to progress their characters on TBC servers or new Classic Era servers. So does that mean those are the only two choices? The new
here's the thing,
Classic
right?
Era servers.
Say you don't upgrade one of your classes. Let's say one of your alts. You don't decide to go to TBC. What happens to that? Right. It goes to a new Classic Era server, but that alt might have tier 3 gear on.
Right. That's my question.
So it doesn't tell you that it's fresh or not. It just says a new Classic Era server.
To be fair, the way they stated. Yeah, the way they stated it, it seems like it's still fully progressed servers. If you can put your old characters on them, it doesn't make sense to start from MC again, because, like you said, you will probably have gear which is from later phases. So to me, this is also a little bit concerning. It seems like just a sale classic vanilla server where your old characters can go and just, I don't know what you want to do then.
It's
hang around in Stormwind. I don't know. It seems strange.
Do some BGs or some hardcore, and then but the thing is like, when they say here, like the characters progress on new Classic Era servers, does that, I think, hopefully what they're going to do here is give you the chance to progress onto, the TBC servers with your character, right? And then what I'm thinking here is hopefully, some new classic fresh servers. And also, when Blizzard came out with TBC, they did also bring out new servers, to help with the load of people that were going to be coming for TBC. So what I'm hoping they do is that they make some fresh TBC servers where people who want to experience,
don't use the word fresh. Don't use the word fresh.
I'm sorry, a new era, whatever fucking server, right?
Just a new server.
A new server, right? So I'm hoping what they're going to do is, mostly have people that continue over and have these new servers, and maybe even lock them potentially for a little bit from transfers for the first few months, so that you don't have a whole influx of people coming with their their geared up level 60s and running.
All right, so what's your horse in the race? Just describe it just as simply as you can. What you believe. Like if you were a betting man, right? You have to guess how they're going to do this. What's your guess, Melderon?
All right. Here's my bet. The bet is they're going to progress all the servers that currently exist in the TBC. They won't do a thing about the issues with faction imbalances, and we'll have to just deal with that. That's my guess if I had to put money on it. And the new classic servers, the way this is worded, would mean that they wouldn't be fresh. They would just be literally sitting places for your characters that you want to keep them on.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I'm wrong. If I had to bet, that's what I would bet.
So you don't think there will be, like, it doesn't have to be either or. Do you think, like, if you had to bet money on it, that there would be classic fresh in addition to those kind of, like, Hall of Fame servers, whatever you want to call, like, places
I wouldn't put money on it.
No,
I wouldn't put money on it.
Okay.
I hope that exists, Cargos, but I wouldn't put money on it. Yeah.
What about you, Dunedin? What do you realistically think they're going to do?
It's exactly the same as Meldron. If I have to put money on it, I think there's not going to be fresh, whatever era, new era, fresh. Yeah, well, I mean, phase 1 servers, that's not going to happen. I don't think. The way they worded it, it seems like just stale content end game servers where you can sit on and don't do anything. That's how it feels. And same thing as Meltron said again. I don't think it seems like the realm you have will just progress. If you click yes, I want to progress, then the same people on the same realm will go to TBC. So it doesn't feel like they are doing anything with balance, like faction balance. Honestly, I think we will not really, if I can go on a little bit beyond this point, I don't think we will get too much information on that tomorrow either. I think it will come later on Blue Post.
Yeah. Hopefully they listen to the community a bit too, right? Like it's not 100% decided. Maybe they.
I think so too. Cargos, yeah.
But it feels to me like they are just going to announce it, basically tell what is in this Blue Post, probably give out the content phases like they did for Vanilla, and then just that's it. Maybe a beta date or a release date, maybe, but nothing else, I don't think.
Gotcha. Okay, well, I'm going to go with the spicy hot take here. I believe if I had to bet money, right, I'd put $1,000 on it or something, that they will do, okay, you will progress all these servers right now, the live servers, will progress into TBC servers. You can opt out of the progression, and they'll put you on some Hall of Fame server or whatever, and they'll just plop a bunch of people there. But I also do believe, because of what they mentioned in the past polls, right, that's what I'm pointing to. Also, just because I don't know if it would cost them a lot, to do this in tandem, to spin up one PvE and one PvP classic fresh server, to give a little bit of electricity into the people that are diehard vanilla fans. Like those people do exist. I love TBC as well. And we've been playing Classic so long that I'm super down for TBC, but just like 2 servers for Classic, I actually think they're going to do it. And then for TBC, again, this might seem crazy, but I do think they're going to also have some fresh TBC servers. Call me crazy.
I hope you're right.
Double fresh.
Guess what, bro?
What's up?
100% agree. That's
okay.
100%. That's exactly what I was going to say. I think
are.
I think that it makes sense.
So you guys, hold on, let me interrupt you real quick. You guys are saying that you don't want this. You actually think they're going to do it.
I think they're going to do it. I think they're going to do it.
Okay. So there's a difference between wanting it and thinking they're okay.
Yeah, because I think both me and Meltron want it as well, but I don't.
Yeah, I understand. You guys are maybe a little bit more realistic, but I think this is realistic as well. I honestly think that they know. Listen, there are people out there. Look at Onslaught and the people there. That were set out to only play Classic. That was their goal, and I think there are, we did a poll, remember Meltron when we were streaming? Yeah. It was, how many people want just TBC versus how many people want to just continue playing Classic fresh versus how many people want both. There was a lot of just TBC, there was a lot of both, but there was a good amount of just Classic as well. And even if it was the minority, I think that's still enough for them to have, like you said, Cargos, at least 1 or 2 realms,
Yeah.
So that's, I think it's possible. I think it's more than possible. I think it's actually
probable.
What's going to happen. So yeah, I think it's probable.
The new hashtag spawning in the chat right now. Hashtag double fresh. Can we do some Blizzard customer support? Double fresh.
That would be great.
Yeah. maybe me. I'm a dreamer.
So my question is, if there are fresh TBC service Cargos, would they be locked to transfers?
Yes, I do think that. And I think that would be maybe the only thing that they would do out of their way, custom-wise. I don't think they're going to do gold cap. I don't think they're going to do custom battle groups for the new fresh servers. I think they just may lock transfers for a bit for new fresh servers. Okay. That's it. They just tell Bob over in IT, be like, come on, Bob, I know this sucks, man. Can you just please put this, one 2 months. Tiny feature in there? Just
2 months.
Yeah, we got to do this. They're tweeting at us like crazy. Hashtag double fresh. Our hands are kind of tied here, Bob. If you could just go ahead and put 2 months lockout period for transfers, that'd be great.
Yeah, guys, if you want it, you got to do. Don't be asinine about it. Like, go into forums and go into Twitter and say you want double fresh, right? Yeah, that's the way you're going to get it to happen.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. Hashtag double fresh.
And I think locking that server is very important because, like I said earlier, if you have an influx of people coming from these other, I'm going to go on this fresh server because, and bring my max level over, you're ruining the point of having that fresh server. Right? There are a lot of people out there who stop playing Classic or people who just want to play TBC and want to get that fresh experience, right? And go on a realm where that realm is, the story starts there, right? On that realm. And once people are at level cap, I would say, depending on where the phasing goes, maybe during that second phase, right? Where hopefully what I'm hoping that second phase would be, would basically be SSC and Tempest Keep. That would then allow the influx of the transfers to be allowed at that point.
Well, that's, to piggyback off what you're saying, it's saying they're going to roll out in phases. That is a good sign. I mean, it was kind of obvious. There's a precedent there with Classic that they're going to do it in chunks. But hopefully Blizzard is, listening to the community and might consider chopping it up into smaller. Well, let's look at Classic. Okay, let's look at Classic, chat. Think back, clear your mind, clean slate, look back at Classic. Did you like the way they did phases in Classic? What was wrong with it? What was right with it? Like, would you? What I'm leading you towards is like, would you want it to be more bite-sized chunks, or would you want bigger chunks? Mm-hmm. Or
I think what they did was perfect, except for the Phase 2 open world PvP without Battleground. Mm-hmm. Well, outside of that, I think it was fine.
I had a slightly different opinion on that because the Phase 2 thing would be nice in theory, but it didn't work out because the realm size was too big. In my opinion, the Phase 2 would still be nice if the realm sizes were smaller, but it wasn't like that. So, I mean, if they ever do it again, I would highly suggest them to make smaller realms and just try the world PvP again, because I really think it can work, but they need to, cut it down a little bit.
I would say, so someone just said this, and this is actually really important. Fishboy 1111 said this. The wording of this thing, just looking at the words, makes people think that SSC and Tempest Keep will be in the launch.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
Let's talk about that. Dunedin, you brought it up. Go ahead and start with that point.
Yeah, so basically if you read the saga unfolds over time, it says, in the second sentence, it says, prepare for the opening of the Black Temple, gear up to confront the gods of Suleiman, and gather your allies to face the fury of the Sunwell, which suggests to me 4 phases, and the second phase, the first is lounge and everything, and then the second phase suggests to be Black Temple. That's how it's worded, at least, because they don't put SSC in there. They don't put anything from tier 4 in there. It immediately starts with Black Temple, and that is concerning. Yeah, and there's one. Now, I've been thinking about it a little bit, and what is possible is that they just want to gather some feedback, like they did with Classic, then change it again.
Now I think so. But the thing that's really important here is that the way they're saying it right now is the actual way that it was brought out in TBC, right? So you had at launch, right? You had Karazhan, you had Gruul's Lair, you had Magtheridons, you had SSC and Tempest Keep all available to do behind an attunement process, right? And then about 5 to 6 months later, Black Temple came out. So this is what they're saying here is an exact copy of how the content was put out. Now, a lot of people we don't want this, right? Because we know that there are going to be a select few of the min-maxers who are going to go out and get that TK, that SSC attunement relatively quickly, and it's going to really be a detriment to Arena as well as just the whole feel of the progress of the game. So what a lot of us are asking for, myself and I think you guys included, is to Phase 1 be only Nax, Gruul's Lair, Magtheridons. That's it.
Kara.
The next Kara. I'm sorry. Did I say Nax? Yeah. I always fucking say that. The next phase then would be the release of Tempest Keep SSC. The next phase after then would be Black Temple, and so on. Right?
Yeah, Suleiman, is that worth a big phase? Like, how they had ZG patch in Classic? Like, how big of a deal was ZG even really? Like, I mean, it was just like a little. I mean,
it can be minor phase, a minor content addition to the game. I think
there are some good pieces.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest patch, but Suleiman is a little bit different though.
I mean, can I first say though, Dundin, big brain, bro. I love the way how you analyze this, man. It makes so much sense. I pretty much think you nailed it, spot on, right? The way they do a little comma here after each section, it's looking like 4 phases, as is right now.
Yeah. But
100%, bro.
So the sentence before that is also really important too. Okay,
That's
so
true.
add a cadence paste for the WoW class community, which tells me that they're going to poll us, or they're going to have an open dialogue.
Yeah, remember that there was 4 phases originally for Classic. That changed.
Correct.
Yeah.
So what's funny? It's probably tinfoil hat theory, but it seems to me like they on purpose start with something we don't want, because let's face it, I think everyone voiced their opinion and everyone's pretty much on the same page on this. We don't want like the entirety of Tier 4 and Tier 5 at launch, right? So in my opinion, they just put this out, try to cause some talk about it, and then later on they can change it and they say, listen, look, we listen to the community.
I like it.
Isn't that great? Isn't that great of us? It seems to me like they are doing something like that.
They could.
I hope they change it. I really hope they do. There's nothing to change because they didn't put out phases yet, but that's how it seems to be.
They could be. Do you think Blizzard's the type of company to do kind of big brain shit like that so they can look like the unsung hero or whatever? Or, I mean, more often than not, you feel like the redheaded stepchild of WoW, right? Like, we're the drop-down box is the way I always say it.
Basically.
They did that for Classic, remember? They changed the phase announcement before the game even came out. Mm-hmm. So it was 4 to 6 before launch. Mm-hmm. So they didn't use any data. They just... that had to have been coming from somewhere, right? Why would they change 4 to 6 before?
There was a lot of content creators that were pushing it. I remember, like, Fan was talking.
They were actually looking at the community, right? So they were actually.
Oh, what's the over under of us graduating out of the drop down box though? Do you guys think we're gonna have our own section on the BattleNet launcher? Do you think we're gonna have to go to WoW Shadowlands and then hit the little box and then scroll down and go WoW Classic? No,
should do
WoW TBC. Yes,
a Classic option that has a drop down box for TBC, for Classic.
That's
right?
what I'm saying.
So
man.
They should just have one that says Classic, World of Warcraft. Then the drop down box, you can pick which server you want to be on. Right.
Well, the thing is, like, once you hit it once, my launcher always loads Classic, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It does, but if you were to go to BattleNet, though, like, it still shows the Shadowlands, like, news and shit, right? And it like...
True.
I don't know. Anyway, it's just a funny little thing, but it makes you feel like we're just this little niche community. Maybe we are, but with TBC coming out, it could be bigger than Shadowlands, so maybe we get our own spot on the BattleNet launcher.
Never know.
You never know.
So let's read the rest of this blue post.
Yeah, let's go from the top, man. I want to savor it.
Yeah.
Go, read the top paragraph too, man, if you can. This one right here.
Okay, yeah. Journey through the Dark Portal once again in World of Warcraft Burning Crusade Classic. Originally released in January 2007, the Burning Crusade summoned the heroes of Azeroth to the shattered and fell-scarred realm of Outland to stop an invasion of the demonic Burning Legion. In 2021, Blizzard Entertainment's recreation of the first World of Warcraft expansion will give players from around the world a chance to return to Outland as it once was, to relive an era of timeless adventure or experience what awaits beyond the Dark Portal for the first time.
Okay, a little bit of nugget there. I mean, that is just a cool-ass paragraph. It gets me hype. But as it once was, does suggest no changes and no crazy customization. I was always fantasizing about the idea of them maybe, turning the dial up on difficulty and going, you are not prepared for real. Even if you played these sweaty private servers, like, you are actually not prepared because we've added randomization to the bosses or something to make it harder. It doesn't look like that'll happen, though.
Yeah, so it doesn't. But again, it's hard to. Coming from the whole developer standpoint, we talked to a lot of the developers. So how the last iteration, last patch represents not only just class balancing, but a lot of other things too. And in my opinion, I know Judane will totally not agree with this, and that's fine. I think there's a lot of good points in the 1.1 argument he had for Classic, but there's a lot of things they went back on. There's a lot of things they shifted and changed like multiple times. And in my opinion, from a developer's standpoint, releasing a game prior to the final patch is an incomplete version of the game. And that's not saying that I agree with that. I'm saying from a developer standpoint, I think that's how I look at it.
But there's some ways to go around that, though, right? Like looking at maybe gear, right? And seeing how, like, look at Karazhan, for example.
That's not what I meant. Yeah, but yeah.
Right, I'm just saying, like, I think there is a way to still try and get that difficulty by, not necessarily messing with talents, but actually, like, going back and saying, okay, the gear that originally dropped from Kara was not as good as it was later, right? So maybe, like, still having that retroactive gear and then progressing as the time goes on, like they did on private servers.
I was more talking about class spells, abilities, class balance.
No, I'm just saying, what if instead, right, they would do something like that to make the difficulty a little bit.
Now, the thing is, in TBC there have been changes, especially to things like Circle of Healing and stuff. But it's nowhere near as big as it was in Classic. In Classic, you had content patches that back in the day that were basically called, like, this is a Warrior patch, or this is the Paladin patch, or whatever. So from nostalgic point of view, to me personally, it made sense if we had those things again. Like in this patch, Warriors get their updates, and in the next phase, Paladins will get their updates. And in TBC, it's a little bit different. So I wouldn't. For TBC, I'm totally fine, actually, if they go with the latest patch. But the same issues will arise, and that is that the content is going to be slightly easier in the beginning. And we saw in Classic that it was pretty detrimental to the, in my opinion at least, to the end game rating. Because it's only from Nax on that, honestly, it became really fun to do, right? In Nax, I really had a blast, and I still have, and I still like it. And AQ, I mean, after one time or two times, I'd seen it. It's not fun. It's boring. It's easy. So I hope they don't make that same mistake. And I think the mistake is less big in TBC because everything is slightly more interesting, and there weren't as much changes on the balance. Things changed less severe, let's say.
They changed a lot in the raids, though. A lot